Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all viewers. Welcome back to our channel. As you know, it is now time for our English language slot, and today we are going to look at the new SPM format, and this will be used from year 2021 onwards. The new format, we have 4 papers, and each will test students on one specific language skill. Paper 1 is on reading, paper 2 is on writing, paper 3 is on speaking, and paper 4 is on listening. In order to score well, students are encouraged to learn the format and requirements by heart. We have Puan Haja Harrison today to share with us in great detail about all the 4 papers. Get your pen and paper ready, and please welcome Puan Haja Harrison.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning everyone. Okay, today we're very honored the English language panel of Sekolah Menengah Teknik Tuan Ku Jaafar. Okay, we are going to cascade the SPM Cefr-Aligned English papers 2021. Okay, now what is it about? What is CFR? Okay, CFR is Common European Framework of Reference. It started in Form 1 in 2017, and it went up to Form 3, PT3 019, and this year, okay, this new curriculum will be in Form 5 in 2021. So it is a continuation of PT3 Cefr-Aligned 2019, and is targeted at 4 language skills: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Okay, and it is compulsory for all SPM students. Okay, they have to sit for all the papers to be awarded an English grade. Okay, first, let's talk about the CFR. I guess you have heard of the CFR since Form 1. Okay, what are they? Okay, the CFR is actually an international standard. Okay, so for the English proficiency level, there are 6 different bands. The bottommost is A1, and then it goes to A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. Okay, I'm just giving the overview of what the band descriptors are so that you will know, okay, what it means to be in the C2 band, what it means to be in the B2 band, and A1 and A2. Okay, this is actually a very, very brief description of the 6 different band descriptors. Anyone who goes into the C1 and C2 bands or the levels, okay, they are proficient user. Proficient in terms of speaking, writing, reading, and also able to understand what is being said or what is heard. Okay, So the C2 level is the topmost level, and that is the mastery level. Okay, C1 is the effective operational proficiency. Okay, and this is actually the advanced level. Okay, for B2 and B1, these are independent users. They can use English effectively with some fluency in a range of contexts. Okay, the B1 is a threshold, able to communicate essential points and ideas in familiar contexts. Something which are familiar to them, then they will be in the B1 level. Okay, for the basic users, they are the A2 and A1. So the wastage can communicate in English within a limited range of contexts. And the A1 is the breakthrough level. Okay, just discovering, just coming through, and is A1 level. Now for SPM, we are focusing on the B1 and B2 levels, and these are the independent users. Okay, now we're moving to the actual 4 papers for SPM. SPM 2021, okay, which you will be sitting for at the end of this year, inshallah. English 1119 papers. Each paper contributes 25% to the overall grade performance for SPM 2021, and all candidates must sit for all the 4 papers. The allocation of the marks for each paper: paper 1, reading and use of English, is 40 marks. Writing, second paper, 60 marks. Speaking, third paper, 20 marks. And listening, fourth paper, 30 marks. Okay, at this point in time, these are the allocation of marks, okay, for the 4 papers. Right. Okay, the timing for the 4 component papers of the SPM English exam. Okay, this is actually provided by the ES, Examination Syndicate, Lembaga Peperiksaan. The reading and use of English for 1 hour and 30 minutes. The writing paper, 1 hour and 30 minutes. The speaking paper, approximately 13 minutes. And the listening paper, the 4th paper, for 40 minutes approximately. Now we are looking at the format instrument peperiksaan SPM mulai tahun 2021. Again, this was provided by the Examination Syndicate. Okay, the types of instrument. You can see that. Paper 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the types of items that you will be sitting for. The number of questions that you will have to answer. The total mark for each paper. The constructs that are asked, okay, the skills that will be assessed. Okay, the length of the exam. And 7, 8, 9, okay, will be something that we don't really talk about. You know, this is actually with the LP. Yeah, the standard kandungan and so on. Right, again, the aras kesukaran, the level of difficulty is actually the B1 to B2 level, right? Okay, we're going to go into more detail after this. Okay, now we are moving to the first paper, reading and use of English. 40 questions will be asked. You will see 40 questions in the exam paper. You have 5 different parts. Okay. Now, if you remember your PT3 paper that you set for 2 years ago, that was for 1 hour and 15 minutes. But for English, you will sit for 1 hour and 30 minutes. Okay. All right. Okay, part 1. We are looking at questions 1 until 8. Okay, you can see that this is a sample question. Okay, this is a graphic question where you will be given 8 stimuli with choices, multiple choice questions of A, B, and C. Okay, so this is, I think, nothing new to you, because for your PT3, you also had this type of questions for part 1. They're similar. Okay. Okay, so question number 2. Right. Okay, now I'm looking at part 2. Now, again, if you recall your PT3, now part 2, now you see a difference from your PT3 paper. We're talking about questions 9 to 18, right? Read the text below and choose the best word for each space. You did not get this type of question for your PT3. For your PT3, part 2 was just correcting the errors. Now here is a gap field. You have 4 possible answers. Choose one that fits the best for each blank. Okay, this is quite similar to the current SPM paper of section B. Okay, you can flip through the current SPM workbooks if you want, and they're quite similar there. But what you can see, the difference will be, if you look at the 4 options for A, B, C, and D, no? You can see that is a lot of vocabulary being asked. Okay, you see vocabulary, you see prepositions, you see sequence connectors. So you have to polish your vocabulary. You have to polish your words in order to be able to score part 2. Okay, now we are moving to part 3. Okay, is it a shocking part 3? Because you did not get any questions similar to this in your PT3. Your PT3 part 3 was an information transfer question. But for SPM, this is what we call the extended text. 4 options, A, B, C, D. Probably this will be the most challenging part, because the text is quite long, about 650 to 700 words. You need to read and understand and identify the correct information from the text in order to choose the best answer. Okay, look at part 4. Your PT3, part 4 was note completion. SPM, part 4 is gap text. Okay, I guess this is probably a bit familiar to you, because definitely you would have done this in Form 4. Okay, when you use the full blast plus 4, the text that we did using the textbook, we have been doing this, the gap text, you know, talking about sentences being removed from the article, and then you are supposed to choose, okay, from the sentences given, the one that fits each gap. And finally, part 5. Okay, part 5 is note completion for SPM. Okay, quite similar to the current SPM section B. If you want more exercises, probably you can look at the workbooks for the current SPM and you look at section B. Okay, so these are the 5 parts for the reading paper. which you will sit for within 1 hour and 30 minutes. Now we are moving to the writing paper, and that is the second paper. Now for the second paper, there will be 3 parts. For your PT3, answered only 2 parts. There were 2 essays that you answered. Okay, one is a short one was a short one, and the second one was a simple essay for your PT3. But for your SPM, we have 1 hour 30 minutes, okay, for your paper 2. 3 parts, that will give you 60 marks. Part 1 is the informal message. Okay, basically you will be asked to write an email to a friend in approximately 80 words. Very similar to your PT3, about 80 words. Part 2, okay, this is on guided writing. Okay, so for guided writing, you are asked, okay, this is actually a formal text. Okay, you will be asked to describe experiences, events, you are asked to give reasons, explanations, plans, okay, but they are guided. Now you see that this is a B1 level. Part 1 is an A2 level. Part 2 is a B1 level. So the level of difficulty now increases. Part 3. Now this is the extended writing, and this is a B2 level. For extended writing, you will have 4 different genres. You have the article, you have the report, you have the review, or a story to write. Now in the question, you were only given 3 questions. 3 out of these 4 genres. Okay, and you will be asked to write on one. Again, I'm highlighting the fact that part 1 is an A2 level. Now keep in mind, A is not like our current SPM A, whereby A is the best mark. A is actually the bottom mark, and B is higher than A, and C will be the best level. A2, B1, B2. So you're going to see that the level of difficulty increases throughout as the parts, as it progresses from part 1 to part 2. So we would expect that the structures of your sentences will be more sophisticated, your viewpoints more matured as you progress in your writing from part 1 to part 2 to part 3. Okay, let's just look at the overview of writing test tasks. Parts 1 and 2 have 1 compulsory answered question. You will only be given 1 question, and you have to answer that particular question. In part 3, candidates have to write on 1 of the 3 given questions. Part 1, an email to a friend in about 80 words. Part 2, an essay, okay, a guided writing in about 150 words. And for part 3, the types again will be either an article, a review, and this review can be a book review, can be a movie review, a report, or a story. And candidates have to write an essay in about 250 words. Now we know the genre, the format of part 3. Okay, prepare yourself for this. Okay, when we talk about the review, okay, read a book, read a good book, so that you are prepared with a good book review. Watch a good movie, so that again you can produce a good movie review. Okay, learn how to the format of a report. Okay, how to produce an article, what kind of language, whether they're formal or informal. This should be learned in class with your teachers, with the help of your teachers or your English teacher. Okay, now we are looking at a sample question for part 1. You receive an email from your new friend, Amy, who has just moved to your hometown. Okay, a short question here. And now you are supposed to write an email, okay, in response to your friend's email. So the candidates must address the task mentioned in the rubric. Okay, if you look at the question here, okay, the school holiday is finally here. Let's go for a picnic with our friends. Where shall we go? And what can we do? What should we bring? I'll be waiting. So highlight on what your tasks are. Use a pen, use a highlighter so that you can score full mark for content. Meaning you respond to all the 3 different tasks. Where shall we go? What can we do? The activity. What should we bring? What are you taking along with you? Okay, don't worry. We're going to show you a sample response, a good sample response, okay, to part 1. Okay, we are just showing here the question, a sample question, so that you can familiarize yourself with the question for part 1. Okay. Again, recap what you're supposed to answer. We're talking about where shall we go? What can we do? What should we bring? Okay, the format. 2, subject. Okay, you can write the subject. This is actually a picnic. Hi, Amy. The best place to go for a picnic will be at the beach. So that answers the first question. Very hot, but windy at the same time. So don't forget to bring a hat and a sunscreen. So that answers what to bring, really. Other than having a picnic, we can go swimming at the beach. So now we are answering the activity. We can also take a lot of pictures. Another activity, especially when the sun sets. The view is really amazing. Lastly, we should bring a carpet or something for us to sit on the sand. We should also bring food and drinks for the picnic. I'll bring chicken sandwich. So if you look at this, we have responded to the 3 tasks asked. And they are, where shall we go? What can we do? And what should we bring? So this is a good sample of part 1. Learn how to write in this manner. Okay? In class, your teacher will definitely talk about cohesive devices. Probably this is to some of you. Okay, the first time you have heard of this term, cohesive devices. Okay, you're gonna hear this term quite often when we talk about CFR, especially when we talk about the writing component and the speaking component. Okay, what are cohesive devices? Cohesive devices are actually linking words, but they are sophisticated linking words. It's not just and but. It's more than that. And when you use cohesive devices, okay, you are the essay will flow well. It will link the ideas together. They will gel the ideas together. And it will become a smooth, flowing piece of writing. Don't be scared of that term. Inshallah, your teacher will talk about these cohesive devices in detail in class. Your teacher will give examples. Your teacher will teach you how to use them. Okay, because cohesive devices is actually an important component in your writing piece. Okay, we move on to part 2. Okay, part 2 is of formal text, guided writing. Okay, you know that is guided because you see the bullets there. There are 3 bullets. Okay, so in about 125 to 150 words in an appropriate style. Okay, so we are talking about the format here, whether we are using formal language, informal language, using the correct register. Okay, we look at question 2. Your class has been discussing how they spend their money, and your teacher has asked you to write an essay about what you would spend your money on. In your essay, you should write about what you would like to buy, reasons for your choice, where do you usually buy these things. Write your essay using all the notes and giving reasons for your point of view. So there are 3 tasks that you have to respond to. When you respond to the 3 tasks, then you should be very comfortable knowing that you are going to get full mark for content. Again, the question is about how they spend their money. What to buy, reasons for the choice of buying, and where do you usually buy these things. Okay, let us look at a sample answer. Over the years, money has become a crucial part of our lives. It is almost impossible to sustain ourselves without the presence of money. The amount of money is the very element that separates the rich from the poor. The presence and invention of currency has pros and cons. It can be the reason a person strives to be successful, or it could also be the reason a person diverges into corruption. Money should always be spent wisely and also be spent on beneficial purposes. Okay, what do you see in the first paragraph? Okay. If you look at the bullet number 1 is what you would like to buy. So a good response does not straight away go to the bullet, does not straight away answer. Okay, start off with a good paragraph talking about the question. The question is about money, how you spend the money, how you should spend the money. Okay, talk about money in general first. Okay, then only you answer. Okay, the 3 bullets. Second paragraph. I prefer to spend my money on stationeries and revision books. So this is what you want to use with the money, what you want to buy using your money. I also spend money on novels and storybooks. At least these are the things I can afford for now. In the future, once I have accomplished my studies and have ended a job, I would like to fulfill my dream of buying a sports car. I have always had a fascination towards sports car ever since I was a child. The reasons for my purchases would be that. Okay, going back to the question. Have we responded to the 3 tasks? What you would like to buy? Stationeries, revision books, novels, storybooks. Bullet number 2, reasons for your choice. Okay, because these are the things I can afford for now. Where do you usually buy these things? Okay. Okay. Okay, it is not mentioned here. So this is probably the content will not be 5 because it is not mentioned where you can buy this or where you can buy the revision books or where you can get the stationaries, right? Okay, this is a sample essay, right? Now again, if you want to get full mark, then you have to respond to the marks. Okay, part 3, the article. The article, part 3 is extended writing. Okay, in about 200 to 250 words. Okay, in an appropriate style. Okay, you are to respond to one of the 3 questions in the question paper. Now, this is a sample of an article. Question. Okay, so assume that this is question 1. Okay, you see this notice on the board outside the school library. Articles wanted. My school canteen. What are the types of food would you like to be served? What special facilities should your canteen have? How can you improve your canteen? So write us an article answering these questions. The best article will be displayed on the school magazine. So now you have the 3 bullets and you are again to respond to the 3 bullets in order to ace 5 marks for content. Okay, I forgot to mention this now. Okay, for each part, the full mark is 5. We're going to look at the mark scheme afterwards here. All right. Okay. Now this is a review question. The second type. Okay, a sample question. Have you watched any interesting movies lately? Send us your movie review. Say what you enjoyed about the movie. Would you recommend the movie to your friends? Why? The best reviews will be published in our newsletter. Just now an article. Okay, now is a review. Okay, we are just showing you the sample questions. Okay, another sample question is the story. Question 5. Your teacher has asked you to write a story for a school magazine. The story must have the title, A Dream Comes True. So your story should include a description of the dream and how the dream is achieved. Write your story. So 2 parts here, the description of the dream and how the dream is achieved. All right. We look at sample essay 3. On the 24th of May, 2018, the 3rd installment of the Avengers series was finally released globally. So, looking at the word Avengers, so we know that this is a movie review. The movie was titled Avengers Infinity War. It follows a group of superheroes collaborating with other superheroes across the universe to try and stop a bigger foe named Thanos. Thanos, who is the antagonist in the film, is on a quest to gather these powerful stones called Infinity Stones in order to fulfill his so-called destiny, which is to erase half of the population in the universe. I had the chance to see it, and this is my review. You look at the first paragraph. You look at how the structures, You look at how complex the structures are. Very good words being used. Okay, so this is actually the standard for part 3, and that is why it is in the B2 level. Okay. Second paragraph. The movie starts out directly after the events of Thor, Ragnarok, when Thanos hijacked Thor's ship and a tree. This resulted in half of Thor's people left murdered, including his best friend, him, and his brother, Loki. The first bit of the movie left me and the others a sense of what the movie will feel like throughout, which is there will be a lot of casualties. For me, it was a bit sad that one of the well-favored characters of the franchise had to go because he had an appearance since the early installments. Can you identify some cohesive devices there already? Okay. You can see the N, you can see the but, right? And you can also see linkers there. Then, that paragraph. Then, there are also scenes on the Guardians of the Galaxy, which is, see, we're using cohesive devices. A mood shift from the previous scene. From being sad, you are then giggling from the goofy behaviors of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Their old school soundtrack from the 80s will also make you sing along to the tunes. Do expect laughs from the crowd when the Guardians of the Galaxy show up on screen. Okay? So when you read it, you can actually feel it. You can, as if it's so vivid in front of you. So this is how you can make your writing impressive. The choice of words that you use, okay, the structures, the vocab, okay, and that if you can actually impress the examiner, make it actually as if you can visualize the whole scene, then you will score your part. Okay, so you can read to the end of the essay. Maybe the last paragraph. In conclusion, okay, so you are doing the summary there. I rate the movie 9 out of 10. This movie is a must-watch for all generations, which took 10 years of storytelling to make. Movies like this is a one-time event in a lifetime. It has a good balance of action, emotion, and comedy. The movie directors Joe and Anthony Russo made a fantastic job in directing the movie. I will definitely go to the cinema to have my second watch of it. Now you see when the words, the movie directors, now you can't just make it out. You can't just, come up with names. So when you know the names, the Joe and
Good morning. I'm Puan Sarlina, and this is my colleague, Puan Nur Eliza. She'll just listen to us. First of all, we'd like to know something about you. What's your name?
My name is Aminah Nur Khadijah binti Haizan. You can call me Aminah.
Thank you. And what's your name?
My name is Alia Kila, but you can call me Alia.
Thank you. Aminah, where do you live?
I live in Section 9 Bandar Perubangan.
Alia, how do you come to school?
I walk to school every morning.
Thank you. Now, I'm going to ask you about your daily routine. Aminah, what do you normally do after you wake up?
Every morning, I wake up and get ready for school. I will take a bath and iron my uniform, and then I will wait for my bus.
Alia, what do you usually do after coming back from school?
I usually get ready and have lunch and then do my chores.
Aminah, how do you spend your leisure time?
There are several activities I do. Sometimes I spend it by watching TV with my family, or I do my homework, or I will spend it watching YouTube videos on my phone.
Alia, what do you do on weekends?
I usually spend my time dividing myself between doing chores and also doing my homework, finishing up.
Thank you. In this part of the test, I'm going to give each of you a topic, and I'd like you to talk about it on your own for about a minute. You also need to answer a question briefly about your partner's topic. Aminah, it's your turn first. Here's your task. I'd like you to talk about a family celebration you had recently. First, you have some time to think about what you're going to say. All right, you may start now.
The family celebration I just had recently was actually Eid Mubarak, which was last May. What I did there was we cooked nasi dagang with the whole family. We talked together, and we also took some pictures. I did enjoy myself there because I love being with my family. And for me, family celebrations are important in Malaysia because family bonds are everything after all. And I think that family need to get to know each other better and get used to each other.
Thank you. Alia, what was the last celebration you had? Did you have a good time? Why?
The last time I had a celebration was actually my birthday. Me and my family had dinner at one of my favorite restaurants, and I enjoyed myself because I was able to indulge myself in small chats with my family.
Thank you. Aminah, can I have the booklet, please? Now, Alia, here's your task. I'd like you to talk about a person you admire. First, you have some time to think about what you're going to say. All right, you may start now.
The person I admire is my mother. I think that she is a very responsible and a very hardworking person, and I find that I can rely myself on her a lot because she knows a lot of things about topics. And I also think it is important for people to have a good role model in order for people to learn and to have better character and better growth for themselves to expand into their life.
Thank you. Aminah, who do you admire?
The person I admire is actually Kim Namjoon, or also known as RM from the group BTS. I admire him because he has a really good sense of leadership, and I love how caring he is for when he took taking care of his members, and that inspired me a lot.
Thank you. Alia, can I have the booklet, please? Online shopping is gaining popularity in our country. Here are some reasons why people shop online and a question for you to discuss. First, you have some time to look at the task.
This one. Okay. So I will go in between. Okay. I will go first with this one. I'll go first with this one.
Now, talk to each other about the reasons why people shop online.
Okay, I will go first. So the first reason why people shop online is because it is a time saver. You don't have to go outside and go to shops or malls. You can just easily sit at your home and pull out your phones. And it's really just at the tip of your finger.
Besides than that, no crowds is also a big factor in why people shop online. People tend to like to go hassle-free without having to bump into other people, and maybe even lessen the amount of time you have to wait for the product.
Yes, I agree with that. Other points I can say is items on online are at better prices. So I think people are attracted to things that are at reasonable price.
And other than that, actually, also because online shopping has a wide variety of items, so people can access themselves to different types of things that they want specifically.
Another point I'd like to add is it is very convenient because, as I said before, you don't have to dress up and go out to malls. You just have to stay at your home and pull out your phones and you just shop anything you want.
And lastly, online shopping really helps follow the trend because the website is able to recommend items that are in season.
Thank you. Now you have about a minute to decide together which is the most popular reason people shop online.
In my opinion, the reason why people shop online because it is time saving, because it is actually important for people who have works in their daily life, and if they're busy, they don't have to go outside to buy the things they want. So it is very time saving for them to just shop on their phones.
What do you think about convenience though? I think convenience does play a big impact on people shopping because with shopping online, you don't have to even step outside of your house.
Yes, I actually do agree to that.
So I think we both agree that people shop online mainly because of its convenience.
Thank you. Can I have the booklet, please? In what ways does advertising on social media influence people buying behavior?
In my opinion, I think a lot of people find social media as a platform to shop online because platforms like Instagram and Twitter, they often showcase big names like celebrities like Kylie Jenner and everything. And when Kylie Jenner buys a specific product, it helps prompt her audience to be interested in it.
Yes, I do agree with Alia, but I would like to add another point. Nowadays, there are a method of advertising called sponsoring. It's where brands such as makeup brand Maybelline, where they sponsored celebrities or endorsers or influencers, and therefore it can attract their fans and audiences to buy the product that they sponsored.
Thank you, Amina and Alia. That's the end of the speaking test.
Thank you.
lah, internet kita okey. Nanti saya berikan ni. Grade 1 ni.
At the stream.
Oh, at the stream.
Itu saja. Share je. Video yang lepas sama-sama. Audio lepas tak?
Okay, just now you have watched the video of Amina and Alia. You saw how good they were. Okay, they were good speakers and they aced in the speaking paper. Okay, learn from their video. The rate, how slow, how fast, the rate, okay, of their delivery. Okay, how they interacted with one another. Okay, how they presented their ideas. Practice with your friends. Okay, so that you can also excel in your paper 3. Now we're moving to the last paper, and this is the listening paper. Okay, so not much known yet. We have not been fully informed of the listening paper, but it shouldn't come to a surprise to you because you also have set for the listening paper for your PT3. Now for SPM listening, for each audio will be repeated twice. You have the monologue and the announcement, multiple choice. You have the longer audio, also multiple choice. You have the matching for part 3, and you have the gap fill for part 4. Okay, so once we get more information about the listening paper, inshallah, we will share that with you in class, and we will do a lot of practices with you in class. Okay, now before we go to the questions and answers, okay, let me highlight to you again, okay, what this English CFR is. Maybe at the moment, you know, your seniors who will be sitting for SPM, okay, they are aiming for A+. They're aiming for A. They're aiming for A- for English. Of course, I mean, for all other subjects as well. But what is it about CFR? Now, CFR is not about failing or it's about passing. It's not about competing with one another, whether you can get A+, whether you can get A, whether you can get A-, you know. So, for CFR English, the papers, the 4 papers that you'll be sitting for at the end of this year, now your result is solely determined on whether you meet a given standard. So if you are a C2, then you are comparable to another C2 of a person maybe staying in Australia. C2 means you are, you have mastered the language, okay? You are a C2 level internationally. You are not comparing yourself with other Malaysian students sitting, getting A+ for SPM. If you are a C2, then you are equivalent. You are at the same level of a C2 of, again, a person elsewhere on earth. We are talking about the international standard here. No more passing or failing. You are competing with yourself. You are pushing yourself higher the band. Don't just be happy with being a B1 or a B2. You do not want to just be an independent user, independent listener, independent writer. You want to be a proficient person in terms of the English language. You have the mastery, you have the skill, you are proficient, and you'll be very, very comfortable, speaking with anyone, Okay, and you will be able to understand whatever that you are reading. Okay. So that is the end of our webinar today. Okay. Please do expect that at the end of this, your English teacher will assign you with a reading task. So your English teacher will post you your task later. Okay, before I end, okay, we have the question and answer. Okay, just now I saw one question, and the question is about how much time is granted for student to discuss the task given. Okay, so I think this is actually for the speaking component, I assume. Okay, okay, based on the information that I got, okay, so you have about 20 seconds to think and to ponder about what you're going to say. You have about 20 seconds. Is there any other question? Any other question? Okay, feel free to ask your English teacher. Okay, either through when you come back to school. Hopefully you are going to come back as soon as possible. Okay, we're going to have the face-to-face teaching in class, right? Else you can always post your question to your English teacher through the Telegram or any other medium.
Attendance.
Okay. Okay, before we end the webinar, I'm expressing my greatest gratitude to my English panel. Cik Dalila, Puan Haja Nadira, Puan Nurul Haza, Puan Rashida. Okay, without them, without their support, without their assistance, this webinar would not have been realized.
One more question.
Okay, there's another question. Okay, please key in the attendance, your attendance using the Google form link given. Yeah? Can we ask an extra time to discuss? Okay, I guess this is for the speaking component, is it? Okay, there is another question. Can you ask for extra time to discuss? No, you have about 30 minutes only because you have another pair coming. And within a day, we're going to have 50 candidates being assessed. Yeah. So the time allocated is about 30 minutes per pair. So make use of the time to have your discussion, to have your interaction. I don't think they will entertain extra time if you ask for extra time for the speaking component. Good question. Is there any other question? I thought we were wrapping up. Okay, now, okay, questions coming. Yeah. Any other question? Again, key in your attendance here. Any more questions? Else, I'm wrapping up. Okay, with that, have a good day. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.